just part of the screenshot.
Do the Jedi.
I just did.
There are two of them. You can get both of one Pokemon.
Oh, okay. Let's pick a different one.
Mr. Caraway.
Mr. Caraway,
Oh,
Captain Cranky. So what am I supposed to do? He's playing the guitar for him. See, you can actually add sound to your things. That's actually Mr. Caraway playing too. So I told you guys App Lab is not a full-blown app maker. It has some glitches to it. This is one glitch that I can't actually stop the music from going. I have to listen to all 3 minutes of the song, so. Which is okay. You know, as long as they're still dancing, it's all right. Can you imagine the weird email I had to send to these guys? Hey, can you guys send me a picture of you attacking somebody? All right, who do you want me to go with next? Miss Outen and Miss Bunovich. Miss Outen? She's kind of freaky looking, isn't she? You've done photo things, right? What do you think I need to click on? Obviously, Miss Outen is interested in, she likes horses. Do I have, I think that actually went up her nose. Sorry, Miss Outen. And there are glitches to this program, like the music part. I guess I could have used a different software program to, shorten the music so it would work just right. Are you asking for Mr. Caraway? Because he's back there. You can ask him anything you want. Oh, yes.
Is there a way you can put the song and plug it in? Say after a certain amount of time, you turn the volume on the app down?
I haven't thought of doing that. I don't think there's a volume for the app itself, but you could probably turn
the sound.
Right. Well, I've asked him that. I actually sent him a note and said, "Hey, you have a code for play sound. Do you have a code for stop sound?" And they said, "No, they haven't built that in there yet." But they said we might try to put that in there. I haven't seen one yet. Now, JavaScript itself, which is what App Lab is built on, JavaScript itself probably has that stuff in there, but they haven't added that to their library in App Lab. So they're still improving things. In fact, when you guys are working with App Lab, they might upgrade in the middle of our class and change things around and move some of the menus around and stuff. And we'll all be like, ah! And we're like, okay, we got this. And we're like, oh, this is cooler. So don't freak out when that stuff happens. It happens to me every time, and I try to make the directions to fit everything, but I can't keep up with it. The best way I can keep up with it, though, or to try to keep up with it, is when you guys tell me, hey, they don't have that button anymore, or it doesn't look like that anymore. I'll be like, cool, I didn't even realize that, and I'll go back and fix it. So I don't know if you noticed, but I could catch those monsters just by clicking on those things, right? Those 3 monsters. So with Miss Bunovich, though, I actually decided I want to see how long it would take me to actually write almost a simple game. So since she's our lunch lady, I thought I'd try to just shoot the pizzas at her. And I actually have not won this game yet. I wrote the game and I can't win. Because coding is all about math. I don't know if you realize this, but you're going to do some of this when you do animation. This picture is actually a square or a rectangle. And I run it by the top left corner. So that's like 0, 0 for this picture kind of thing. That's its coordinates. Well, 0, 0 is up there in that corner. But this has its coordinates according to its top left. And all I did was I wrote a set of code that says, if this pixel right here at the top left of this thing equals the pixel that's on the top left of the picture, then I win. So how often do you think I'm going to be able to get those two exact tiny little pixels to match? Probably never.
I could do it.
Some of you guys might be able to do it, but
What if you ran it through
Gamer
Photoshop,
for
got
life.
rid of the white and
right, I see.
then
Already thinking.
maybe you can kind of, then you could use that.
Right. So, but I just wanted to see, and I thought, you know what, I could put a range of pixels if they just got close enough, which is what most games do when they're trying to do that, like Angry Birds and stuff. It doesn't have to be exact. It just has to hit certain places, and then they use physics and all that stuff to do that. But almost got it on that one. But anyway, that was kind of fun, and it didn't take me as long as I thought. Now, of course, I've been programming since the world began, so I invented computer science
Me too.
right after I invented the internet. But, so anyway, I've been programming a long time. So like I said, this only took me 4 hours or so. Not all in one time either. I do have a life, but so not much of one, but I do have a. But, so I would do some work, and then I would do another, different, and I'd come back to it. Then there were times where I'm like, I can't get this to work. It's not doing what I want to do, and I thought, so I'd have to leave it for a bit, and then it would just click, and I'd be like, oh. So, and actually, because 4 different monsters on this thing, I wrote the code for one monster first, got that working perfectly, and then I worked on the other ones. I didn't try to work on all of them all at once, because why work on all of them all at once if one of them is not going to work with the thinking that was in my head at the time? So that's a huge programmer skill to have, is let me get one thing working perfectly. Then if I want to add new stuff to it, new monsters or whatever it is, then I'll do it. I did it with the pizzas too. There were 5 pizzas on there. I just got one pizza to work. And once that was working the right way, then the other ones came just like that, because it was a piece of cake, because it was all working. Yeah.
I feel like those skills build with you in life too. It's not
Yeah. Woo! Amen, sister. You're right. Exactly. You're exactly right with that. So that was just for the heck of it, just for fun. Just wanted to play around with it. Next year, when the new app game comes out, whatever it is, I'll probably write one for that. So the next year's classes will be like, oh, Reynolds is so cool. He's so up on the times.
Do you play Pokemon?
What's that?
Do you play Pokemon?
I'm a level 19.
Over 19. That's impressive.
I told you guys I was a runner, impatient walker. That's when I play Pokemon. I run with my phone in my hand. I get my miles in. When a critter catches, or when the phone vibrates, then I stop running and
Did you catch them all?
catch. I think I've caught all of them in the entire universe.
wow.
So you guys might as well not even bother trying to catch it. So anyway, you guys are going to build an app as a team for our company. It might not be as complicated as mine was right there, because I've been doing this for a while, but it might be as complicated or even more complicated. This is why I love teaching this class, because I learned from you guys almost as much as what you learned from me, because you guys will be like, I want it to do this, and then you'll go out to Google and you'll start searching for it, and somebody will have code for something that's very similar to what you want to do. As long as you cite the source, it's okay to use that code and go, I'm going to use this. You probably have to adjust it anyway for App Lab from it. My son is a computer science, computer engineer down in Newport News, and he's like, I never write new code if I can find it out there. None of us do that. Nobody in the thing. All right. If they can find it, somebody's written it, somebody said you can share it, you can use it, then you use that, and then you adapt it to what you want. So it's okay for you guys to look for that stuff, as long as you cite your source and that you've adapted to what you do. Because I want you to learn, not just copy. So it's pretty cool though. It's some cool stuff you can do. don't expect all of you to become computer programmers after this class. I do expect you all to have an appreciation for programming and go, hey, I might not do this for my job, but I'll probably be involved with it somehow. You might be just a designer. You might be the one that makes those little critters, the little Pokemon critters. That doesn't require programming, that requires artistic ability. You know, that type of thing. You might be that. You might just design the interface and go, this is what will attract people to buy our apps. He took this class at first. This first programming class he ever took was this class. And he's a great programmer, but all his programs were gray and black. He didn't do interface at all. He made the program work perfectly, but nobody ever would have bought any of his apps because they were just bland. So when he worked with groups, he would get the other people to go, all right, you guys make it look cool because you're the ones that are going to make it. You're going to make it sell. I'll make sure it works perfectly. You guys make it so that we can sell it. And that's what they did. They worked together to do so, sort of thing. So you guys might find that helpful as well as you're working. You'll have all your strengths. So, final exam is a long ways away. But, yeah, but it's not a real exam. It's an exam project. So you'll be working together. We've been hired to develop several apps. We are so wanted out there by these other companies. We've got tons of apps, tons of app ideas to work with. And we get to pick and choose. We can pick whichever app we want to work on, whatever. And that's what we're going to be working on. So we're going to vote, use some weighted voting on which app we're going to build. Of course, they're going to train you first. Some of you will pick this up like nothing. Some of you will have a harder time with it. That's fine. Maybe your strength is in design or artistic ability or being able to sell it, present it very well. So we'll take care of that. At the end of your training, you guys will all have the same app, you think? No, you'll all have a different version of that same app. Right? So, as a team though, and we're not starting yet, so don't freak out. You're just working together, you're learning first, but I just want to kind of introduce you to what's going to happen at the end of your class. For Louisa and Nelson, you guys are going to do this in December. You guys are going to do this in the spring. But you'll be researching it, researching what you need for the app, you're going to design, and then you test it with your focus, with people that actually would use the app. So like Pokemon Go, that would be all ages, wouldn't it? Everybody plays it. But if you make an app for some type of secondary class or an elementary class, well then that would be your focus group. You test it with some little kids or something, which we've done. Then, when we all come together to present all of our ideas, either in December or in May, you guys are going to try to convince everybody else in our company that your app is the way to go. Everybody else will be like, yeah, that's a great design, it works really nice. And our company will decide that's where we're going to pull it from. If we were a real company, then we would take all of our sources. We wouldn't be all separate teams. Well, we still might be separate teams. We'd say, okay, this is the app we're building. You guys are going to work on this portion. You guys are going to work on this portion. You guys work. But we all come together as one big amazing app that makes lots of money. Does that make sense? So let's get down to the nitty-gritty of app ideas. All class, these are your app ideas. You're along? These are your app ideas.
You did that last year.
Oh, yeah.
So I've come up with these ideas. I've gotten them from different friends and stuff that say different things like, hey, there really could be a cool app if you did this. I wish I had an app that would make this. That's why I left the blank down there at number 6. Maybe you'll come up with an idea that we could add to this if you want to, but we'll kind of keep that if we really need to. So here's what you need to do now. You need that computer. Back to that field trip page. And there should be an app in there. The app ideas document will explain what kind of entails. It doesn't have to be exactly, but I thought I'd throw some ideas up there to tell you kind of like what happens. For example, the grocery store assistant. About you, but when I walk into a grocery store with a list from my wife or from anybody pretty much, I walk that store probably 4 or 5 times. I should probably have Pokemon going while I'm doing it because I could get a lot of kilometers in that thing. One item. And so the grocery store assistant might be something that finds food for me. Oh, that'd be a cool name. All right. The car care assistant. If you read along there, it might be something where it keeps track of all your car's information. When do I need to get it on? Will it notify me? All right. So I wrote down some ideas. So as a team, read through all those things, and then we will. We're going to vote in a few minutes using weighted voting. All right. So the fall class, we'll pick one of yours. The year long, we'll pick one of yours as we go. So go ahead and just look at those documents. Read through. 47130. Three votes. All on one.
Probably the last thing we'll do is go. One of the things we're looking to do.
I'm gonna end up getting it. I messed up.
Figure it out. You guys figure it out?
Yeah. What?
What are you guys doing? What are you guys doing? What are you guys doing?
Yeah, I know.
Is everybody happy? Is your mind now changing to look at what you have there that you have for the choice and going, okay, let's see how we can pull this together with that. And you can be satisfied with where we're going to be heading for this. Because remember, I'm the CAO, CHAO, I'm the CAO, so Chief App Officer. So we've got so many choices. We have so many clients that we could work with. And now we can pick and choose, and we're going to choose these two, and they're going to be very happy. The other companies, the other clients aren't going to be too happy because we're putting them aside for now. Or maybe I have other project teams at other schools. I have them working on other stuff because this is a huge conglomerate business. Never mind, I'm just going way off on it. All right, so what do you guys? Chore keeper. What do you guys? Assistant. You don't have to think about that too much now because final exam is not for a long time. You have to be trained first before you can actually create anything. So some of you guys, like I said, will pick up on this very quickly. Some of you will struggle with programming. It's the same with any subject. Some subjects you're really good at, some you have to really work at. It's the same thing, but it's still just a subject to work at.
Yeah.
Bless you.
He's allergic to gums.
All right. Let's talk about some general class information. Like I said, you don't have to worry too much about the final exam right now, but I wanted to start it with this thing. I wanted to get you going with it so that, things are going to be rolling around in your head. While you write all the other different apps I have for you, you might be thinking of different things to work for the assistant or the tutor thing that you're working on. Well, let's go through some general class information. Like I said, being an online learner is quite different than being in a regular classroom. So when you're emailing me, don't just keep hitting reply on an email from way back in Unit 0 asking about something in Unit 3. That really throws things off, and I usually, because I'm also trying to teach you how to do things online, I might just say, can you send this to me again with the correct subject? That way it gets you in the right habit. I know it's a pain sometimes, but it'll get you in the right habit when you're talking with a professor or something to make sure that subject matches, because it can get very confusing. I get probably 50 or so emails a day, and it's not nice and organized. It really throws me off, especially for things like for instance, Unit 0, Lesson 1, didn't I ask you guys to all put an exact subject in there? And that's why that is because then I can know exactly what I'm grading and all that sort of thing. All of your documents are the same way. I have you name them specifically one way so that I can easily find them if I need to. You can easily find them when you're trying to find, why did I get that grade? Did I forget something? Find it very easily. Are you keeping things organized in the folders I had you create? I know I make you create those folders, but I have no idea if you're actually using them. That's up to you, right? You have to be the one that organizes that stuff. Maybe back when you were a little kid, your parents cleaned up the toys for you. But nowadays, she still cleans them for you. Yeah. Make sure you use paragraphs and spaces. I've been pretty lenient this first few weeks just because you're getting used to it. But you guys love writing things all in one big paragraph. Yeah. You learn how to write correct paragraphs and things in English class. I'll expect you to use them on your emails. So if you're asking about something, make sure it's separated by something like either spaces or bullets or numbers or something like that. It's going to drive you crazy sometimes because I will send you an email back saying, can you send this back again to me with some paragraphs and things? I do it for two reasons. One, I'm teaching you how to be good online, but also I don't want to miss anything in there. And when it's one big long paragraph, I can easily miss something that you're asking And then you're like, why didn't he answer that? Well, I probably missed that sentence in the huge thing. So I'll start sending those. I haven't sent them yet, but I'll start sending you one that says, can you send this to me nice and organized or something like that, right? And I said this earlier today, be specific with your question. The more specific you are, if you screenshots or something like that or whatever, the better I can just help you. But if we need to go back and forth, we'll be all right. That's what my job is all about. Deadlines. Calendar is all set up for you. You can check the calendar out, make sure you follow it. I recommend that you always have that up in a tab somewhere. Just pull that up there so you're not surprised by things that show up. We talked about this earlier. Extensions, they're built into the schedule already. So when you ask me for an extension, guess what I'm going to say? Nope, I'm not going to give you an extension unless there's an extenuating circumstance. There's always something that might happen that really need help with. And if that occurs, usually we get Mr. Caraway involved with it too to make sure everything is the way it should be, that we keep everything fair for everybody. Because if I give you an extension, that means everybody should get one, right? But that's not going to happen all the time. But if there is a situation where just having trouble, we have to talk about it. But the extensions are already built in. Do not wait until it says unit 2 deadline. Because what's going to happen Sunday when you're working on it and it's that deadline? What's going to happen to your computer? It's going to crash, or you can't get on the internet, or the internet's just so slow it won't load. And then you're going to ask me, can I have an extension? I'm like, well, the unit actually was due a week ago, so you shouldn't even be in this situation. Now you're trying to do it from home. That's not really the place to be doing it. This class is built to do everything in class. It's nice, isn't it? You don't have to have homework in this class. I know some of you do work at home because I've been watching all the cup stacking. It's usually at your house, and you never really look to see what's behind you, do you? Because someplace there's some weird stuff behind you. But anyway, it's fun. All right, so realize that everything can be done in class. And hopefully you've seen this already. If you hand in something after a deadline, it's not just a zero forever. It's not written in stone. You can actually get partial credit. How far does this go down? 10 points a day. 5 days, down to a 50. So you can still get a 50. Half credit's better than nothing. Does that make sense? People could still recover and have a good grade even if they have a 50 or something. You get too many of them, then it's not going to work too much. Got a couple 50s in there. That's not a huge deal, but if you don't want too many, okay? So make sure you realize that now it's not an automatic 50. It's you have to actually do the work. Other things, Google Docs is the file type that we use. Some of you had to start off with PDFs because Google wasn't quite connected with PowerSchool, whatever you want to call it now. But now everybody should be connected. Is there anybody that can't log in with their Google account? Because I need to fix it. All right, so you should all be able to do Google Docs. It's much easier for me to do it through Google Docs as well. So instead of PDF has trouble with dashes. Did you ever know that? You convert a document into a PDF, sometimes dashes disappear. So if there's a dash in your website link for your app or something, that dash will disappear and then it'll send me somewhere queer. It sends me in random place. So try to use Google Docs. Check your calendar, your grades, especially grades. Check those grades. Make sure that I didn't goof. I've already goofed a few times this year and you guys have helped me with it. Figured it out. There are rubrics for almost everything in there. So check those rubrics to see what's missing. If you ask me how did I get an 80 on this, I'll say what did the rubric say? You go and find that rubric. Also put in comments sometimes. If you get a 0 and there's no comment, guess what that means? You just never turned it in. The deadline passed, so I just assumed you didn't want to turn it in. So if you see a 0 and you have nothing there, then you go, you can always ask me, but that's what I'm going to tell you is I never got it. But you can always always take care of that partial. If something is missing, because some of you guys are getting farther ahead than I'm able to keep track of. I did a major remodeling of the class this year. I'm working on Unit 3 right now, trying to get that to make sure everything matches the right numbers and all that stuff. So if you find something that's messed up or whatever, even in the corner units, let me know because I will fix it. Sometimes it's a mistake that I should have credit catching my mistake. That's what I am. Have you found the extra credit? There's a lot. Most of it is with programming stuff because it's not just goofy things. It's stuff that actually will teach you even more about programming stuff. So, but you might like it. You might be like, hey, this is a cool way to learn this. Jump into it. And there are some games on there. There's some game sites that get some points from. So I found games that just had some cool thinking skills in there. Like, hey, I can do extra credit. Be sure you don't share your files. You can talk with each other. You can say, oh, you need this in there. You can look at each other's computers, discuss things like that. Do not send stuff back and forth. Here's my app. Go ahead and copy all of that. You guys know yours. Uh-oh. This is the biggest thing that people have, isn't it?
That's really no.
We talked to our seniors about senior internship. At the end of the year, we asked them, what would you tell the upcoming seniors? Almost all of them say don't regret it. So let's see. They do. And you guys can have that trouble in here since there's no teacher looking over your shoulder all the time. I'm not there all the time. So you can end up procrastinating. Maybe you're this person. Got any cleaners in here? Do that sort of. Nobody? No, because you're not.
Oh my god, big that's so you.
I could probably go ask your facilitators how many panic rooms there are. All right, now there's nothing wrong with making a list. I make lists all the time. The procrastinator makes a list and never actually does it.
Don't be mean.
Dude, that's really.
Some of you get nervous because you're fitting a lot of these categories.
Oh, that's me.
Oh my god.
Yes.
Yeah.
Some of you guys are going to do this with the apps, actually. You're going to be working on my app. And you're like,
It's not.
but instead of a snowman, I could make this.
Well, it's not sidetracked by other work. It's more like something.
Oh, there you go.
It's like hey, butterfly.
Let's go.
Oh, look at the yeah, baby.
It's not lies. I'm watching things for you. I wonder what
That's what you guys are going to do with the hiking assistant. Sabina, are you crying?
How does he know me so well?
All right. That's all I got for you. Hopefully this day has been useful to you so that you can get to know your team, get to know me a little bit more. And we're going to have a great year. Make sure you email me. Follow those mottos. Those are good mottos to follow with this class. And you guys will be great next time we meet in December, November, or whenever it is for our final exam thing. You guys are going to be expert programmers.
That's really makes you strong.
Yes.
Like your dad.
All right, thanks for being good people here today. Yep, we are done.
Oh my gosh. We did good. Yeah, really.
Alright.
This boils once you first.
Hey, Sir Reynolds. Or watching your data. So I had to pick like a couple of the games and stuff off. There was like Farmville and then like 50 other games. Be very careful because like there were a bunch of like kept every like I even removed Chrome on it and it was hijacking every browser to make it start on certain pages. So just be very careful when you're looking like you really know what you're installing and make sure it's not like AOL toolbar all these. You should be good to go. Do you know? Because the alert's not gone yet. I put Google Chrome on there, so you have Internet Explorer and Google Chrome. And there, you'll see them down in the taskbar at the bottom. There's the blue E for
You can't throw that. Add. Look. It's done. It's done.
It had been hijacked. So that was one of the pieces of malware that was like, and the security thing is that they'll track what you're doing. And like when you put in a password, it's tracking. Yeah, like I have a personal email that is like I have, and like I changed that password like it was yeah. That way like I wouldn't change it on here and then we just like right exactly. Yes, I think you're good. Let me know if anything weird pops up again. I blame you, Victoria. Go ask about the like the end of July. Like leaving the kennel on the horses like 6 a.m. So it's very early morning. But it should be a really good year. No, yeah, I still have my thing for you. Yes. If you ever want to come out, just let me know. Whichever. Just let me know. Because they have a paste coming out. Milkshake though.
You're gonna stop in the gift shop with me, really?
This month? No, we were talking about over. It's in like
$5.
kind of in between Orange and Unionville, off of Route 20. We'll run. Yeah. Since you're a junior, I think it's $25. Yeah. And juniors, you can join the entire season for like $150. It has a different price on the website right now. Yeah, juniors, like for the entire season, you can hunt every single day, and it's still $150 for the whole day, or $25 a time. See how that works out. Well, and the next thing is that you always run second and third flights too, and the third flight is more just walk trot, let your horse see stuff, trying to get used to all the motion. And that's some of them do better doing that because it keeps them moving and kind of keeps their brain going forward.
Guys, there's another stall.
Yes.